to explain a little more of why your clock might be cuckooing extra, such as 13 times or 14 times, when it's only supposed to cuckoo 12 times. This seems to be an issue for a lot of people. This is called the rack. Let me turn on some more light. As I was saying, this is called the rack. This is called the snail. This is the rack stop lever. This tab goes into these notches of the rack. This piece right here of the rack is called the tail of the rack. And the very end of the tail of the rack is what hits the snail on certain times. This space here is the 1 o'clock, and then it goes 2, 3, and this inside space is the 12 o'clock position. But if your clock tail is bent wrong, you see how the rack didn't properly go into the tabs? There it went into the tabs for the half. Okay, but when I make it go into the 3 o'clock position, this is the 3 o'clock position. You see it's not going into the notches. So when the clock cuckoos, there it went into the notch. And that is 1, 2, 3. This is the 4 o'clock position. Sorry, I'm going to get into a different position. If the, like I said, like here, this is 11 o'clock position, but it didn't fall into the notch properly. So when it cuckoos, a lot of times it will skip because it didn't fall into the right position, or it will cuckoo extra. This movement is extremely dirty, and this is supposed to be the 11 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And if it wasn't dirty, it would clear. But you see how this is on this section right here, the very last. This is the 11 o'clock position, and then this very last section is the 12 o'clock position. It fell in the 11 o'clock position, okay? So it should only cuckoo 11 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This would be 11, and then going underneath would be 12 if the movement wasn't dirty. 11, and then again 12. And that's because this tab on the end of the tail of the rack is not bent right. And so when I move it to the 12 o'clock position, which is here, we'll see how many times it cuckoos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that would be 13. Again, it's because this tab is not bent right. How does that tab get out of place? My personal opinion is because when the clock is in warning or when the clock is cuckooing, people look up and say, it's not supposed to be that time, so they turn the hand backwards while it's cuckooing, or when it goes into warning, or when the music is playing, or, again, that's my personal opinion. And so in order to fix that, you have to bend that tab, but you have to count these notches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyway, you need to count 12 notches up. Because, like I said, currently, this is not falling into it's supposed to fall into the teeth notches fully. And if it's not falling in the teeth notches fully, you have an issue. Okay, that is where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the bottom one is 12. Okay, so let it drop, and then I'm going to pick it up so it falls into the teeth correctly, and then I'll make a mark on this rack. I don't know why they don't have a mark anyway for the 12 o'clock position, and why there's all these extra teeth. I'm not that smart. Okay, and so now all you have to do, because you got your mark, all you have to do is mess with this tab and bend it some until when you trip it, it falls into that 12 o'clock notch mark that you made. If the tab of the lift lock lever, I'm trying to get it to do it, falls on the very end of the teeth of the rack, let's see if I could get it to do it. If it falls on the very end of the teeth of the rack, then as it is cuckooing, there I just broke the tab off. No big deal. I'll bend it again and make another tab. But now I have to reposition the snail if I was going to use this movement. I want to try to duplicate to where it falls onto the end of the teeth, so I can explain something to you. So give me a second to do that. While I'm here, I already told you that this spot up here is 1 o'clock. The very next section is 2 o'clock. So where it's currently at, it should be the 2 o'clock position. However, when the rack drops, the tab of the rack stop lever is only going into the very first slot, which is 1 o'clock position. And so to get it to go deeper, you would have to close the gap between the tail and the rack, or you would have to lift up this tab some. So there, it's now fallen into the 2 o'clock position. So it's cuckooing 2 times. But I've already broke this tab off once. I don't break it off anymore. But if the tab of the rack stop lever falls on the end of the teeth and it's not in a notch, it will actually skip a tooth or 2 teeth or whatever, and it might not cuckoo the right amount of times, or it might cuckoo extra times even though the tail is falling on the right spot. When you do your function test, go through every one of these to make sure that the tab of the rack stop lever, again, this is the rack stop lever, that's the tab I'm talking about. Make sure that that tab is fully seated in the notches and in the right notch. You know, you want to pay attention and count all your cuckoos. You know, it seems redundant, but counting all your cuckoos will ensure that your function test is done properly. And that's how your clock cuckoos too many times. Like in this case, it's going to cuckoo like 14 times in the 12 o'clock position. See, there's a 12, 13, 14. And if I move that even more, let's count, see how many times it cuckoos. 1. You see what I'm talking about? The gathering pen, because the rack fell too far, it's not able to grab the rack. And now it can. But in that position, the gathering pen that's on the Pac-Man can't grab the rack because this tab on the tail is bent wrong. So you have to, in your function test, check all this stuff out and make sure that you're doing a proper function test. I'm going to bring it up one. Like I said, it's going to cuckoo 14 times here. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So yes, your clock can't cuckoo too many times, and it's normally because this tab that's on the tail of the rack is bent wrong. So make sure you do your function test and make sure that the tab is going all the way into the notches on the rack when you do your function test. I hope this helps. Leave me some comments, give me a thumbs up, and may God bless each and every one of you.